Okay, microphone is on, and I'll put some headphones on. Camera's on. Camera's crooked. Hey, welcome everybody. I'm your host. Morning, Andy. Morning, Liberty. I'm your host, Kevin Williams, your Heavenly Father. Not really a host. This is just spilling COVFEFE. Sometimes we do this in the morning. I'll guess which way my camera should go here. Hold on. All right, so I'm at the TBD studios. Morning, Marcy. It's too early for you. Go back to bed. Same with you, Andy. It's too late for you. Go back to bed. This studio, I have to take it down and put it up several times. So I put it up. Oh, good morning, Stephanie. So, yeah, this is all casual, and my brain has not started to function yet. I've had half a cup of COVFEFE. It's good stuff. This is no big whoop. We're just gonna talk. I'm gonna be pretty low-key. By the way, have you guys seen Loki on the Disney? It's pretty interesting. I don't know that I love it. I really enjoy it. No, I love me some Ted Lasso. That's where my love goes. What We Do in the Shadows. Love that show. Really enjoy Loki. But I can't say that, like, when Loki ends, I have to watch the next episode. Like, I binged some of it. I would watch an episode and then the next, what's going to happen next? But I don't feel compelled to. I'm not waiting for the next Loki to come out, but I really enjoy it. So I like it. Like, how do you feel about Stacy? Oh, I like her. Do you like her? I do. I like Loki. Sounds a little bit like a song. I like Loki. I like Loki. Maybe I'll just sit back and have a little toki watching Loki, which I like. That's why I'm not a rapper. By the way, I do have a rap song. I do this parody to Ice Ice Baby, and I call it Ice Ice Hockey. And it's up on the iTunes, and I do the different NHL teams. As Stephanie, I have no ETA for the movie. In fact, I might just cancel movie night altogether. Stop asking about movie night. I'm sorry. I want to do movie night. But hold on. Let me finish the story about my rap song first. Someone took one of the versions of Ice Ice Hockey, because what I do is I record them for the different NHL teams. Not all the NHL teams. I think one year I did that. But I'll record these different versions of the Ice Ice Hockey song, and I put them up on iTunes and Amazon and the other places where you can buy music. And then people buy them or listen to them on Spotify. Spotify is really terrible. When you look and say, like 700 people listened to my song last month. Wow, that's interesting. And then you get a fraction of a penny for those 700 lists. You're not getting rich off Spotify if you're a small artist. You're really not. Morning, Cindy. And hi, Stephanie. Hi, Jojo. Are you making waffles? I have yogurt with bran. Somebody... And I get these little checks for this rap song that I do this. I get like $25 a month or 27 over 2 months. It's peanuts rolling in. I'm not complaining. It's something I did, in 2009 or 2011 or whenever I recorded those particular versions. Somebody listens to them. If somebody gets enjoyment out of it and I get 3 cents, great. That's fantastic. I'm happy to do it and happy to have people enjoying my art. I guess someone took a 2009 version of my Detroit Red Wings Ice Ice Hockey, put it in a YouTube video, which has subsequently gone viral, and I got a check for like $658 last month because of this viral. I don't even know which video it is, but I'm demonetized on YouTube for doing this stuff, my videos. Somebody else doesn't even have to be monetized, actually. somebody else is showing a video that has my song in it, and I get a certain percentage of the ad dollars generated by that video going viral, and I got a check for something I did in 2009. So the lesson here is do stuff. Magic Johnson once told me, he says, secret is making money while I sleep. Ask yourself this question, Kevin. Are you making money while you sleep? Will this make me money while I sleep? And if it does, do it. Figure out ways, and that's how the rich get really rich. Well, first off, they practice basketball a lot for a long time, and then they get really good at it, like possibly the best in the world. There are those who consider Magic Johnson, for his time, the best player on the planet. So just do that, and then you get lots and lots of money, and then you can invest in things that make you money while you sleep. So that's another way to do it. Or you can just record a stupid parody song in 2009. There was a news article written about it at one point, and I think the title was like, "So Bad It's Good." Ice, ice, hockey. Doom, 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 doom. It is so bad. But I'm fully aware that it's terrible. But it's really enjoyable. The actual Ice Ice Baby song is really a bad song, but we love it. We don't love it. We do, actually. You want to see people sing of all generations? Well, I guess anybody, let's say 60 and younger, who remembers 1992 or 93 or whenever that song came out. People just love the Ice Ice Baby. I'll be in Montclair September 30th. Will they keep? I have no idea what JoJo's talking about. So this is what we do. This is Spilling COVFEFE. We don't necessarily talk about anything in particular. And we might take a look at some Fucks and Friends to see what they're outraged by this morning. Terrible development. One of the bombings done, one of the drone strikes done by the United States in Afghanistan. The Pentagon is now admitting that, those were civilians. 10 people dead, 7 of them children. It's a problem with airstrikes. And over the years, the United States has killed thousands of innocent Iraqis and others. They killed 4 Canadians. They bombed Afghanistan, or the United States bombed what they thought were terrorists or something, and they made a mistake, and it turned out they were 4 Canadian soldiers. Now we're done with Afghanistan. Theoretically, we will still launch airstrikes. Innocent people will get killed. War is heck. Anyway, so we're going to talk about movie night. Oh yeah, so I want to do movie night. Movie night has not been canceled by Ted Lasso. Some people say Lasso, which is weird. What does he say? What's Ted say? He's from Kansas. Josh says, hello everyone, glad to see you all today. Remember, it may be easy to lose hope in the waves of darkness, but kindness is your superpower. Peace and love. Well, there you go. I think that's it for the day. Thank you, Josh. So, yeah, I had originally planned to do movie night last night and then couldn't. So I will shift it to Saturday night. Couldn't. Shifted to Thursday night. On Thursday night, I had to go. Some of you have seen I made this hockey audition video. So having to do with a hockey-related commercial. That's about all I can say. And I did that. So it's been no movie night now. And can't do it tonight. But I was like, well, let's do it at 10 a.m. Now I have an audition that's due by 3. And, well, then I could do it after movie night. But I can't. Because now I have a callback in another city near here at 1:10. So I'm not complaining. Well, I am complaining. It's good to be busy, but come on, people, it's Saturday. Let me do movie night. So at some point we'll do another movie. At some point. Yeah, and there's very little delay in the chat. What about tomorrow night? We could do it tomorrow night. I have a hockey game at 4:10. Be back around 6:37. So yeah, maybe tomorrow night. I don't know. I just don't know anything anymore. But we'll do movie night. Let's. Anybody else have something specifically we want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll check out Fox and Friends here. My brain has not woken up yet. Liberty's going to spend the afternoon and evening with Gracie. I'm assuming that's one of your kids. I don't know. Good for you. That's awesome. Next weekend, I will be on a plane, hopefully, on a plane in Canada. We are going to my brother-in-law's memorial service. He died during COVID, and of course, we couldn't have a funeral. So if things go well, I'll be on a plane from Abbotsford to Calgary. Abbotsford is just outside of Vancouver. Abbotsford is like the secondary, like a Burbank to an LAX. It is a secondary airport in the Vancouver area. Just a small little airport. You park right there. You walk up with your bags. It's out in the middle of nowhere. They do an air show there every year. Big Abbotsford air show. Anyway, from Abbotsford, which is Vancouver, to Calgary, which is one province over. Keep in mind, Canada's way bigger than the United States, and there's only 10 provinces, so that's a pretty good jaunt. But on an airplane, it's about an hour. That flight in Canada is 34 Canadian dollars, and that includes Canadian taxes. It's basically free. I don't know how they're doing it. But on the way home, that's where they get you. It's 75 Canadian dollars on the way home. That's where they make their money. I do not understand it. Saying that, this guarantees that I'm going to book some other commercial back in LA during that time and have to pay like $1,000 to fly back directly to LAX. I don't know. But it'll be great to see family. I haven't seen my sister. Wow. And her family, unfortunately, has been cut in half. She started with 4, and now she's down to 2 over the last year and a half or so. So it'll be fantastic to get up there. So I really, really, really hope that turns out. There will be no movie night next weekend, is what I'm saying. Stephanie says, sorry for your loss, Kevin. Same thing happened when my mother died. We haven't had a funeral yet. I'm so sorry about that, Stephanie. My mom has passed as well, and it takes a couple of years. It really does before that pain sort of turns into just an appreciation for having her around. October 2nd is coming up way too quickly. That is the night that we will be doing our annual charity fundraising thingy for Books and Bricks, which raises money for to send kids to school in Africa. So mark that date on your calendar, if anyone still has a calendar, October 2nd. Start saving your pennies, and hopefully you'll be able to contribute something. If you can't contribute something, at least share it with other people, and maybe they can contribute something. It's a wonderful organization. Last year we raised, during the pandemic, we raised quite a bit of funds, and you guys were absolutely overwhelmingly generous on that. So, good. And now that I'm making money off my rap music, it's a nice, especially... I don't know if this is the universe or God or whatever, but so my unemployment money goes away because, there's no economic problem anymore in the United States. That money all goes away, and it'll be interesting to see the job numbers, by the way. Anyway, the $300 a week in unemployment went away, and then I got a check for $600, which is the half of what I was getting from unemployment, but it's just kind of unexpected mailbox money, and I like it. I'll take it. Someday I'll climb out of debt. Come on. Liberty says, Gracie didn't think she'd live through the pandemic to see her kids and grandkids a day. Oh, is that... I don't know who Gracie is, but that's kind of cool. She's got grandkids. Josh is telling all our Canadian secrets. Yeah, no, air travel is free in Canada. It's like the healthcare. If you just want to go somewhere, just hop on a plane. It's all paid for. All taken care of. Liberty says, we realize how important funerals are when we couldn't have them. Yes. For a lot of people, it is closure. My mom actually wrote a book about funerals. So, shame on us for not going up there. I mean, literally, we couldn't. They changed, once again, they've changed the requirements as of 2 days ago to get into Canada. I don't know that we can even get in. We're all dual citizens in my family, but finding the right paperwork at the time, Panda still doesn't have a passport because hers ran out during COVID, and you couldn't renew them because she was under 16 when she first got her. There was no way to do it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's watch a little Fox and Friends before I give away my entire life. It's got to have volume, though.
Knife on the end of the rifles that they're throwing at each other.
So when they train...
And I'm afraid of master sergeants.
But strong.
Well, happy birthday to the Air Force. It is an incredibly impressive display. It reminds me of Stripes. I don't know if you ever saw Stripes when they showed up late to their...
A little better than Stripes.
Parading. No, they absolutely do better than Stripes.
You're going to make everyone want to go back and watch Stripes. All right. Well, we begin with a Fox News
I'd watch Stripes again. It's one of my favorite movies.
alert. There's a new twist in the disappearance of 22-year-old Gabby Petito, the family of her.
So now the lead story, so much going on in the world. The lead story is the disappearance of a cute blonde chick, because that's what America really cares about. This is a weird story, though, but there are unsolved murders all the time. I haven't watched the videos of this. I'm just looking at this one picture, and I'm like, oh, hot chick. And America goes nuts over a hot chick. That's a fact, Jack.
Her boyfriend.
And then there's some other, like the guy killed his housekeeper, and then his family on the hunting property, or I don't know. When that stuff comes on, I just skip. Let's just skip ahead. Well, I think there's actually some like cop video, some sort of, they pulled them over and they were having a domestic dispute or something, and she had attacked him. Because as soon as people hear domestic violence, it's always like, oh, that stupid guy, we hate that guy. A lot of times it's actually the woman abusing the man. Now, I'm not saying that always happens or whatever, but people make that assumption. But I guess the cops in this encounter, when they pulled this couple over, the guy had scratch marks. He was bleeding on his face from her. And she fully admitted that she did that. Anyway.
Brian Laundrie.
I don't want to care at all about this. I hope they find her, and I hope she's fine.
Say that he's now missing.
Well, this is as authorities search
What? Come on.
Laundrie's home after.
Oh, yeah. So the Laundrie family, this is the boyfriend's family, has refused to talk to the police up until yesterday, and now he's missing? What?
He was named a person of interest in Gabby's disappearance.
Get off their lawn.
Carly Shimkus is live outside the Laundrie home in Florida with what police uncovered. Carly.
Come on. How long are we going to spend on this?
Jury pool.
Okay.
And it creates
the ability to launch these strikes.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking. This is the story about the airstrike killed 7 children, 3 adults in Afghanistan.
The U.S. military believed it was carrying ISIS fighters and explosives, but the head of U.S. forces in Afghanistan called this a tragic mistake.
I will stress this was not a rushed strike. In the 36 hours preceding the strike, our leaders on the ground, at the airport, and in the strike cell received more than 60 different pieces of intelligence related to imminent threats.
The strike took place 3 days after 13 American troops were killed in a suicide attack at the Kabul airport. General McKenzie anticipated more attacks. 10 innocent civilians, including 7 children, were killed in the strike. Without U.S. bases in Afghanistan, drones must fly for hours from distant bases in the Middle East. 2 days after the strike, after the last U.S. troop...
Doesn't make a difference. The drones could be an hour away. This is a failure in intel. It doesn't matter where the drones come from. This is a failure. From you know what? If they were at Bagram, that's only an hour and a half away. That they could have seen that it was kids. No, it's not the way it works.
Troops left Kabul. President Biden touted the military's ability to launch these strikes without any friendly forces on the ground.
We have what's called over-the-horizon capabilities, which means we can strike terrorists and targets without American boots on the ground.
After the strike, the U.S. military's top officer, General Mark Milley, called it a success.
We think that the procedures were correctly followed and it was a righteous strike.
We knew from the very beginning there was a possibility of civilian casualties.
Officials say there will likely be no disciplinary action taken against the U.S. military. Will, Rachel, Pete?
Hey,
Thank you,
Lucas, I wanted to ask you a quick couple.
Like, what do you do? How do you take action against the U.S. military? They made a mistake. People died. That's the military.
Questions. First of all, they're admitting a mistake when it comes to the civilian casualties. Are they at all maintaining there was any person of interest or suspect or target that was also killed in this strike, or was it simply all collateral damage? And let me just ask you, too.
Well, they were all ISIS-X, so there's that.
Once, Lucas, because I know you've pressed the Pentagon on this detail as well. You've asked them if there was any U.S. boots on the ground to help coordinate this strike, and I know you pressed them as to whether or not there were any special operators. What about intelligence operators? Was there any CIA presence or CIA assets somewhere on the ground?
Well, we're not going to tell you. That's not how undercover CIA agents work.
Will, I've been told that this was signals intelligence that picked up this threat. They were watching this white Toyota Corolla. Now, just for perspective, about 75% of the cars that drive around Kabul are white Toyota Corollas. It's like Taliban fighters with a Kalashnikov, AK-47. You know, they're everywhere. But General McKenzie was very clear. The intelligence said that they were hearing chatter about a strike, and the context is important. You know, this was 3 days after 13 Americans were killed in that devastating suicide attack. More attacks were anticipated. General McKenzie, all the top brass, even the president, were anticipating more attacks. But at the end of the day, these were civilians that were killed. The car was parked. There were water jugs loaded into this vehicle, not explosives.
So to be clear, everyone that was killed in this strike was an innocent victim.
That's correct. There were no ISIS fighters, no ISIS facilitators, planners, any terrorists whatsoever in this vehicle. It was all civilians killed. That's why General McKenzie came out yesterday. He's very clear and took responsibility and said it was a tragic mistake.
Lucas, thank you very much. Lucas is exactly right. Whether it's white Toyota pickup trucks or white Toyota Corollas, they're everywhere. And so if you're relying almost singularly on signals intelligence, digital intelligence, whether it's a chatter or video surveillance, you can get fixed on one vehicle that's the wrong vehicle. And then pretty soon all the signs are the wrong signs. They're loading things in. You think it's explosives. It's water bottles. And that's what that New York Times report ultimately laid out. There was also a stop for that vehicle at a Taliban police station, which they thought might have been a facilitation. Ultimately, apparently, they were asking for permission to deliver water at a particular location. Who knows the particulars? But ultimately, it's the limits of what you can do when you don't have human intelligence on the ground. And frankly, what were we relying on for our intelligence at that moment? The Taliban, who had told us that ISIS-K was their avowed enemy, and as a result, could have given us an indication that maybe another strike was imminent, which does create the urgency. You can't fault the Department of Defense for an urgency.
Well, that's our bad for relying on the Taliban. I mean, it's not like the U.S. government made any kind of peace agreement with the Taliban. It's not like the U.S. government ever said, hey, you know what? We're not going to take care of the terrorists anymore. We're going to have the Taliban do it. Fun fact, that's what Trump did. He said Taliban's going to take care of terrorism.
To say our Marines and others are in a very vulnerable position at the gates, which they were. But if you're tracking a vehicle for 8 hours and you hit the wrong vehicle, it means you have very limited and shallow amounts of intelligence that you verified on the ground because you don't have anybody on the ground to verify it.
Pete, I keep hearing this term over the...
I don't know how anybody on the ground would actually verify that. I mean, I suppose if you could see the person actually loading the water jugs, but Kabul's a real city. Like what? Oh no! Go from where you are. If you're at the Bagram Air Force Base, it's going to take you 90 minutes. You can fill up a truck pretty quickly, or in this case, a Corolla.
Horizon. Explain what that means.
Well, over the horizon means you don't have to be in that region or in that country or in that city in order to strike there.
Right.
Usually, over the horizon, in order for it to be effective, you need human intelligence. You need systems. You need.
That's what you're talking about.
That is why the Taliban, and there are reports about this widely, they are systematically going around and hunting down anyone that's worked for the Americans in Kabul and elsewhere. Because anyone who's worked with the Americans is a potential intelligence source who could give up information. They're consolidating their power quietly while letting a few Americans, a few SIV applicants get out, The rest of the people that there are in the vice grip.
Well, and that's why Trey Gowdy on Sunday Night in America said that over the horizon is a euphemism for infanticide. Take a listen.
Over the horizon apparently is a euphemism for infanticide. I want to know the layer of review before this country, the world's...
No. War is a euphemism for infanticide then. No. It's not the way it works. This is a tragic mistake. But, there's no but there. But no, we also took out facilitator, planner, or whatever right after the attack, the day after the attack on the airfield. And apparently that was a success. But anyway, the bottom line is that there are no more American boots on the ground, at least in terms of soldiers. So you won't have more soldiers dying. And remember, it wasn't the Taliban who killed those soldiers. It was ISIS-K, or if you're Trump, ISIS-X.
Greatest country decides to kill 7 children. Who gets...
No, the greatest country did not decide to kill 7 children. That wasn't the intention.
To approve it? Who reviews it? What's the quantum of evidence? And it's not lost on me, Brett, that Joe Biden was slow to pull the trigger on Osama bin Laden, but quick to pull the trigger on this drone strike while he was having really bad press that resulted in the death of 7 children. So Trump gets criticized for killing the right people. Let's see what happens to Biden for killing 7 children.
And it's very interesting. And I think an important point to make is that this story would not have come out if not for the New York Times investigating that video and really countering what the military was saying had actually happened on the ground.
So the New York Times is awesome, right? That's what we're saying now, Fox and Friends?
Yeah, you know, another angle to this story, as I listen to you lay out all the white vehicles in Kabul, Pete, was there then a potential target of interest that got away? We sat here and targeted a family in the end, ended up killing a family with 7 children. Does that mean we lost the real target somewhere along the way, and they exist? I'm sure they do exist somewhere in Kabul today.
Yeah, and
well, since we're now out of Afghanistan,
was the airport the target? How much did we really know about that target? Right. There's a lot of urgency there for sure. And by the way, the bin Laden raid, Qasem Soleimani, those strikes, not over the horizon. If you have intelligence on the ground and you have bases very nearby, that's different than having to fly a Reaper from thousands of miles or hundreds of miles away and rely on signals intelligence.
So why is...
No, because I believe the airstrike that happened with Soleimani was from hundreds of miles away. It was near the green zone in Baghdad, if I'm remembering correctly. But these are all over the horizon. Like right now, if I was to go upstairs, I could see maybe a half mile. So basically, we just need to be in America at all times if we want to combat terrorism. Can I please do Jello Head? I don't know.
So
just not as effective.
So this makes sense to me. Again, I'm not a military expert. I'm listening to you. This makes complete sense, common sense. Why are our generals promoting this over the horizon? Like, this is a good thing.
Well, they're responding to the political decision to completely pull out of Afghanistan.
Because you have to have a way to justify how you conduct counterterrorism without having boots on the ground. And the new buzzword in the phrase is over the horizon. And we've had successful over the horizon attacks. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we were able to deploy further and deeper than any other military in the world without boots on the ground. It doesn't mean it's always effective. Mm-hmm. And it calls into question how much we can target ISIS-K, Al-Qaeda, and whether we'll target them.
I just think our national security depends on our military being honest about what's actually effective. That's what we're kind of paying.
No, that's not the way the military works at all. Never has. She obviously hasn't read the Afghanistan papers. The U.S. has never been honest about Afghanistan until, honestly, now. It's really bad. We make mistakes. People are dying needlessly. The whole point of being there was to stop terrorism, and it really hasn't worked.
Them to do.
Yeah. All right, turning now to your headlines. A few additional ones for you this morning. Starting with this, millionaire Robert Durst is found guilty of murdering his best friend, Susan Berman. He's convicted of first-degree murder for killing Berman at her Beverly Hills home more than 20 years ago.
Oh, well, that's good. Not that she got murdered, but they found him guilty, I suppose.
Prosecutors say Durst murdered Berman because she knew about the mysterious disappearance and death of his first wife. Kathleen McCormick Durst was declared legally dead in 2017. Her body, though, has never been found, and no one has been charged in the case. Durst is facing life in prison. His sentencing is next month. Overnight, flames from an oil refinery lighting up the sky after a magnitude 4.3 earthquake hits Los Angeles. Many residents fearing the Marathon refinery was on fire.
What? I'm in Los Angeles. I'm near Carson. I didn't feel an earthquake. It's only 4.3, but news to me, but okay.
But officials say the flames were part of controlled flaring to burn off excess gas after the refinery lost power. First responders were initially called to the site, but were later turned away. Moderate shaking rattled the Los Angeles area during the quake, but no serious injuries were reported.
Didn't feel it.
And the Louisville Cardinals take down the UCF Knights thanks to an interception returned for the game-winning touchdown with seconds left on the clock to 17.
That's the news. All the things that are happening on the planet, and it's two football teams that I don't know anything about. That's the highlights of the news. Wow.
Don't miss today's lineup on Fox, starting with the pregame Big Noon kickoff live.
Okay, that's why. They want to advertise their football coverage today, their college football coverage. Okay. Speaking of college football coverage, I got to do an audition, so I'm going to start my day. Smile as it wiggles and jiggles. Smile at the bright fruity taste. Only Jell-O desserts have the beautiful smile. Smile at Jell-O and say, hey, I smiled at Jell-O today. Jello. Boo. Okay, guys, you all be good. Maybe we'll have time to squeeze in a little TV watching or movie watching later. I don't know. I got to do all these things. Why can't I just sit around and watch TV with you guys all day? Huh? It's not fair. Where's my privilege? Okay, guys, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and most importantly, be good to me.